So apparently, when it comes to the Terrence Crawford and the Canelo fight, it seems that Turkey Al Sheikh has got rid of the no running rule in boxing, right? Something that I said would never manifest because it's impossible to really implement that rule. It's impossible to tell a guy how to fight when he's fighting for his life. It's the boxer's right to use the whole ring. All you can merely do is change the size of the ring or give incentives. This is what Turkey Al Sheikh has done. He's giving incentives for knockouts and he's changing the size of the ring. You can't tell the referee or nudge for the referee to have an impact on the fight in such a way when that's a style of boxing. To be able to hit and not get hit is a style of boxing. And oftentimes, a lot of boxers get outboxed and claim the other guy ran when they merely were always a step ahead of them. That's not running because your footwork is better and you're a step ahead of your opponent. That's not running. That's called being a step ahead of the opposing fighter and being a ring general, knowing how to use the whole ring. So, what are some qualities that defensive fighters share who were labeled as runners? Elite footwork, always being in the right position to hit you and you can't hit them. Knowing how to use the ropes, leaning on the ropes, knowing how to use the corner of the ropes, knowing how to use the whole ring, a ring in general, knowing how to hold and grapple and fight in the clinch. These are all defensive fighter tactics. So a no running rule is targeting defensive fighters, and we've seen Turkey Al Sheikh changing the size of the ring and giving a incentive. There will be no running rule. It's impossible to truly implement. Now, moving on to the ring culture of the NBA, right? And these players are so sensitive about this topic. The players are sensitive about the fact that a ring actually impacts your greatness. It seems like they are fighting against that. LeBron James is fighting against the narrative that a ring impacts your greatness. The issue with that is a ring in the NBA adds to your greatness. It doesn't make you less of a player, less great. It adds to your greatness. This is why when you ask anybody about their top 10 players, they will mention a bunch of players who have multiple rings because that matters. Imagine a team sport where the goal is to win a championship. You're going on a campaign pretty much preaching that rings don't matter. It's nonsense. So this how I see that situation, right? So damn, fuck, it's my last. Uh, Rings play a significant part in a player's career, right? Just like scoring titles play a part, just like scoring baskets play a part, just like getting steals, rebounds, assists, all play a part in gauging your value on the basketball court when it comes to what you could do, what you're capable of, your usage rate. That's not the determining factor of what makes a great player. certain things are intangible, certain things you can't see, like leadership qualities, like the ability to adapt and playing team basketball, winning basketball. Um, these are things, certain qualities that some of the great players had. For example, Bill Russell was a player coach. He coached the Boston Celtics to two championships. So when you ask where does ring culture come from, it comes from the great players before you who won rings. That's where it comes from. The other great players who stood in the same shoes as you, LeBron James, being the best player in the league, the other players before you were also the best players in the league, and they won rings. That's where ring culture comes from. The other guys who were just as good as them, who did not win rings, they aren't considered as great as them because they did not win a ring. Also, because their stats aren't as good as those other players' stats. Their impact on winning basketball isn't as effective as those other players who won. So you have to know how to be a good teammate to win a championship. You need good teammates to win championships. So the star player was a good teammate, and so were the role players, and they all should be rewarded. See, some of these role players won't be all-time players, but when you look at their roles that they played, they were all-time role players that should be respected. So when you look at a guy like Draymond Green, he gets more respect because he played winning basketball. He made winning basketball plays. So the ring culture comes from the prior players, the prior elite players who won championships, man. And you have to blame Bill Russell for that because not only did he win 11 championships, but he was a player coach, meaning he was coaching and playing at the same time and won a championship. But these players get real sensitive when it comes to rings and when it comes to media and the relationship between media and players. It's almost as if the players don't understand how important the media is. In a sense, they aren't just against you guys, and I feel as if the players think that the media are against them when that's not the case. The media has always played both sides very well, and the players being sensitive to the media. There's some new age shit going on right here. We entered a new era of basketball where the players are very sensitive to the point where you can't even bring up rings without them feeling like you are targeting them. And it's crazy because ring culture comes from Bill Russell. He was a player coach. He coached and he played simultaneously and won championships. And he has 11 championships. It comes from all the prior great players who won championships, who were the best players in the league. And seems like LeBron doesn't like that. He doesn't like being compared to other great players. Michael Jordan's shadow will always follow LeBron. And that's what he doesn't like. Halo, bro. Nice work. Merry Christmas from Greenland. Merry Christmas is crazy. I'll take it though. Thank you. But so man, this ring culture, it got players acting unusual, going on tours, going on media tours, speaking against championships and winning rings. Thanks, bro. Greenland. It's cold in Greenland, right? Greenland is cold. Ice? No, hell no. Hold up. Greenland is a bunch of green land. Iceland is cold, right? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But Greenland, that's so foreign to me. I don't even know what they do out there in Greenland. Shit's still wet. My phone. Oh, that my playlist. Pussy nigga, yodel whipping. Ain't no turkey on Thanksgiving. My homeboy just, nigga, I just hope the law forgive him. It's not my phone. Where's my phone at? Huh. Shit dead. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's interesting though, watching Terrence Crawford and Canelo's face off was very interesting because Canelo's bigger than him by like an inch, by a pinch, by a smidge, just a little bit. Canelo got him on the height side and thickness side. You could tell in the face, Terrence Crawford's face is more sunken in. Yet and still, even though he gained that weight, Terrence Crawford has a more naturally smaller skeleton than Canelo. In the face-off, that was very evident when you looked at their faces. Crawford's face was sunken in. Canelo's face was wide, like a person who has weight. You know, when you lose weight, your face gets skinny. When you gain weight, has more weight to it. Canelo is undoubtedly bigger, skeleton-wise, than Crawford, although they are the same height. Canelo has him by a tad bit in the height side. And it seems like Crawford may carry more emotions going into the fight than Canelo. Canelo seems to be less bothered than Crawford when the two are in each other's presence and it's an intense setting. Nonetheless, I think Crawford's emotions are his gift and his curse. Crawford's emotions is why he got in trouble in Omaha. It's why he was shot in the head. I would presume it's why all of his issues in life occurred. It's also how he deals with all his issues. This is why they are fighters. But that's an interesting matchup. I'm more interested to see who they put on that undercard of Canelo Crawford. They should definitely get some September 13th on that card for Canelo and Crawford. They should, I believe they will actually, because Turki Al-Sheikh said it, do America versus Mexican fighters. Or they may put some Mexican Americans on the card, some Latino Americans on the card. So, I'm not sure Ryan Garcia will be on that card. He doesn't have a good relationship with Canelo or Terrence Crawford. I don't think he would want to support that card in that fashion. I don't foresee Rolly Romero or Ryan Garcia being on that card. But as Showbiz the Adult said, both of them, that rematch could very well be on that card. That would be a fire fight. That would be a good rematch to put on the card. Personally, I think they should just put the best talent on the card, regardless of race. I think they should favor Mexican and American fighters on most of the cards, but I think they should definitely seek talent and put that on the card. I think, okay, Canelo versus Crawford. With Canelo versus Crawford, I feel like they should definitely get a American heavyweight on that card and a Mexican heavyweight on that card. Two prospects, young, talented fighters. They should target young, talented fighters and put them on that card for sure. Definitely, potential upcoming opponents they should put on that card for both fighters. And Mexican American theme, stick to that. I keep bouncing back and forth between the ring culture conversation and boxing. Payday. Get that money. Gotta get that money, man. Gotta get that money. Gotta get that money, man. So Showbiz the Adult, all right, one of the more polarizing members of the boxing media, one of the more popular members of boxing media, was very observant of the Terrence Crawford Canelo face off, and his assessment was targeted towards the end of the face off. When they looked away from each other, right? In other words, when Crawford and Canelo were face to face, They were looking eye to eye, and no one showed any signs of fear or anxiety or anything of that nature. When they looked away, Crawford's body language and his face, his eyes dropped, his head slightly dropped. He put his fist up, and he had a slight shake to his face. He was obviously anxious, nervous. Does that equate to fear? It's more in alignment with fight or flight, right? I would like to think he wanted to get the situation done with, right? He wanted to get out of that situation. He was fatigued. I would like to think after doing a timely face off, having to put all your energy to your eyes, to look someone in their eyes, having a staring contest, so to speak, I would like to think when you look away, blinking is the most natural thing to do. So I would ask anybody, after you have a competitive staring contest, what is the first thing you do? You typically look away and blink heavily and get your eyes um, back in alignment, so to speak, back to normal. After converting all your energy to your eyes, you have to get your eyes back to normal. You typically blink. Right. So after the face off, when you're forced to then stand still, take a picture, not move your body, not pace around, all that energy you had looking at this individual is now facing the camera. And you have to stand still and do the same staring contest to take a picture. Your eyes will be fatigued. You're gonna blink. You're gonna look down. You're gonna look away. You're gonna do something. If someone forces you to stand still for too long, you're gonna tap your feet. You're gonna pace around. Um, you're gonna blink. You're gonna want to move your body. I feel like he may have felt like a prisoner of the moment and was just going through the natural uh, customs of boxing. But I feel at the end, him looking down, him releasing that energy that he didn't release the whole press conference was due to him having to stand still, was due to him just looking this man in the eyes, having to stand still and knowing that it was finally over with. He released that energy. Uh, that's how I look at that situation.
Hey, we got a crazy show for y'all today. When I'm talking about crazy, I mean I got every.
Tobacco. It's funny how a player would chase rings their whole career, like they Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. But then when their career is coming to an end, all of a sudden they have a problem with ring culture. But with the Heat, it was not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven potential championships. You lined yourself up to win an abundance of championships. If you would have won 6 or 7 rings, you would be validating ring culture. But because you came short of a other great in Michael Jordan, now you're trying to move the goalposts. Let me see what Greenland about. So I was right. Greenland is cold. I'm about to go to sleep.
I trained my dad, made us move 25